there's a surprise breakout player at Rams training camp that no one was talking about. Also, Sean McVay talks about the recent injuries, provides some updates. We hear from McVay. All that more coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Join the party, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and the longtime viewers and listeners of the show on the YouTube, hit the like button, drop a comment down below. Podcasters, write us a review. We will read it on the show. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation, NFL Radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo. Travis out in Arizona. We'll be back next week, but we have a jam-packed show for you. We are talking about all the buzz at Rams training camp, everything you need to know so far, some injury updates, a breakout player. So first, let's start with the injury updates provided by Sean McVay himself. So on the last show, we talked about Emmanuel Forbes going down with a hamstring injury. We talked about Kamren Curl going down. He was carted off the field. Some concern there, but we did get some positive news. And we'll start with Kamren Curl. So the Rams got a scare. There's no doubt about it. He left early with the injury. Curl, Sean McVay said, is considered to be week to week, and it could have been worse. But McVay said, quote, Kamren Curl, we were really fortunate. He's so tough, got his foot stepped on and rolled his ankle a little bit. We'll take a day at a time. We'll be week to week. Kamren Curl's as tough as it gets. That's a bad feeling temporarily, where it looked like it was going to be something, and then he's so tough, he walked off. We were fortunate to get some good news on something that could have been really tough for us, and I'm really glad it's not. So that's huge, because clearly you could see at practice that a lot of the emotions on the field were like, uh-oh, did something bad happen? When you see the card, things aren't good. Curl is a very tough dude, and Curl definitely is someone that has already really earned that, hey, I'm not going to be playing during preseason. I'm already going to be the starting safety. I won't be featured in these games, so it's just about getting me to the regular season so I can hit the ground running. So having him be out, not a massive game changer for that reason. He can just kind of take things slow, allow himself to heal. But the other dude who got injured, Emmanuel Forbes, who tweaked his hamstring, Sean McVay said that he's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks. So for a hamstring injury, that definitely is not on the severe side. That definitely is on the side of, okay, it's nothing major. McVay said Forbes felt a little tweak in his hamstring, and it'll probably be a week or two with him. You can't be smart enough with some of those soft tissue injuries, especially when some of those perimeter skills players, they're moving, and that's definitely extremely important. But you would also say, but I've been really pleased with Emmanuel. That's what really stood out to me. Said, I've been really pleased with Emmanuel. He's going to attack his rehab the right way. So the difference between the Forbes injury and the Curl injury is we wanted to see Forbes get into some preseason games, get those reps. But the good thing is that this is not something that's going to keep him out for an extended period of time. Before we blink, he's going to be back on the field, and he'll hopefully just pick up right where he left off, because everyone is speaking extremely highly of Emmanuel Forbes, who they claimed off of waivers last year. He bulked up in the offseason. He has really taken to the coaching and the development of the Rams, and I still think from an X-Factor ceiling level, he definitely has the ability to make some noise this year. But speaking of noise, the noise at Rams training camp, as far as breakout players go, is about Nate Landman. Nate Landman is the breakout player so far at Rams camp. Just being out there, seeing this guy move, seeing what this guy does as far as a communicator. He's going to have green dot duties this year, and he's going to be calling out the defensive signals and communicating and making sure his teammates are in the right place. Well, first of all, you look at that inside linebacker position. That is not a position that the Rams prioritize, that they go out there and spend big, that they draft high at that position. But you still need someone to play that position, and you're trying to get quality and depth and guys that can perform there. And they get Landman. And, yeah, I mean, look, he's not a Bobby Wagner who they got in 2022. He's not Ernest Jones who they took in the third round in 2021. But they've been able to bring in a guy where he signs a $1.1 million deal, and it looks like he's already taken that position and ran with it. And then you also add the fact that the Rams did draft Chris Paul Jr. in the 5th round. Those aren't massive draft picks or massive signings, but early on, that's what the buzz is about. We're 7-8 practices in, and he has already made it known. He has already impressed his coaches to the point where it's clear that he's going to be the starting linebacker, that he's absolutely just running away with the competition. He's going to be the defensive signal caller. He's going to be that dude that's going to be making plays in the middle of the field for the Rams defense. And Sean McVay, he has spoken very highly of him so far. He was asked about Landman after practice, and McVay said, quote, "You can hear it, you can feel it. He's one of those guys. He has some natural leadership traits and characteristics. I think you're innately thrust into that when you play an inside linebacker position. He's just got a good feel. He's got great awareness, a great understanding of how to be able to positively uplift his teammates and challenge them in the right way. I love what this guy is about." So we're already using the L word to describe Landman. Sean McVay's using the L word, saying, I love what this guy is all about. And you just kind of look at the plays he's made specifically. The practice on Saturday, we're out there, and you can just see it. I mean, you had the play where Davis Allen, he gets a ball, Landman, he goes up to it, punches it right away for a turnover. It was just great timing, great instincts on that, and he just has this ability. That's kind of one of my predictions is this is a defense that could use some more turnovers. We know that from the last couple of seasons. I think Landman has the potential to get those punch the ball out type of turnovers that we just haven't seen from this defense. And he's actually been known for that. That's been part of his MO if you talk to people that covered him when he was on the Falcons. And this guy is just, he wants to create turnovers, and he forced 3 fumbles in each of the last 2 years. I want to see him do that for the Rams. I'm saying at least 3. Give me 3 for Nate Landman. I'm getting 3, and hopefully I'm getting more. And then earlier this week, there was another play that really turned some heads at Rams camp, and it's where Landman and Omar Spades, they're lining up. It's a 4th and 1 situation, and they just absolutely stuffed it. You had Kamren Kinchins in on it. They were just doing a great job in pursuit, forcing that ball outside, getting that penetration up on the line, and that just shows you, I mean, he's kind of lifting and elevating his teammates. His teammates are trying to pick him up as well. I think that was a really cool thing. He said about the situation, you saw there was a great play kind of in short yardage situation that Cam Kinchins did a great job of being able to kind of spill the ball outside, and Omar and Landman in unison ended up getting a knockback tackle on a 4th and 1. He has consistently shown that type of stuff. So that's Sean McVay giving you a specific example of the kind of plays that he's making. And that's exactly what he wouldn't hear. And then also the thing I love to hear early on in camp is how are teammates talking about teammates. And Quinn Lake, who he's been really kind of the vocal leader, the green dot guy for this defense in the last couple of years, he said that he actually likes the fact that Landman is taking over those green dot responsibilities. Quinn Lake said, it, quote, "It takes a load off of him," and he means that in a very positive way. And these guys know each other. I mean, Lake, he was in that East-West Shrine game when they were both coming out of college, and he saw him play. And Lake said this about his new teammate, Nate Landman. He said he's a, quote, "fantastic player. I almost want to call him Peanut Punch Landman." he has just a knack for the ball, and we see so many clips. Coach McVay shows them in the team meeting room of him doing it in Atlanta, and then you see it out here, and you understand why he's able to cause those turnovers. He practices the right way, a great communicator, fantastic teammate, great addition for us, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do during the season as well. I mean, this is Lake just absolutely gushing. He said he's doing an amazing job. He said, I know there was familiarity with him being in Atlanta, kind of with the same defensive scheme, but his transition really has been flawless. You guys have seen it. He's been making a ton of plays. So this is big just because, as Quinn Lake mentioned, this is someone that was playing under Raheem Morris's scheme in Atlanta. So that's why he's been able to, I think, really hit the ground running with Chris Shula. So Shula does some different things, but a lot of the principles, a lot of just the foundational stuff is very similar. So from a learning curve standpoint, I think he's been just really able to handle it. And yeah, I think where he's going to really help this team, consistency and his ability to stop the run. A couple years ago, he had the second highest run stop rate of any linebacker in the National Football League. Last season, regressed a little bit in that department, but with a defensive line like the Rams, I think you're going to see that number go back up. So he's going to be a little freed up to roam a little more, make more plays, get to the football. I think he's going to be one of your favorite early new additions. I think you guys are going to be really excited about Nate Landman because I clearly am. But coming up next, more buzz from Rams training camp. Who's making plays and what else are we seeing that's positive? Anything there's a negative? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams brought to you by our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest. Some days on the course or off of it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and stay energized. I golf occasionally, not really, but I have friends that golf, and I go and I hang out. My favorite golf memory probably was being at Justin Turner's fundraiser out in Thousand Oaks, and Ryan Pepio hit a hole-in-one, and I couldn't help but think, hey, man, it'd be nice to have some more energy to help me perform better against these major league players. And look, just being on the golf course with friends is the best, but sometimes you're kind of looking for, where do I get my next drink, the Bev card, all that stuff. Well, you don't have to worry about that with 5 Hour Energy. And really, golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape ginger lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the Bev card. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's number 5hourenergy.com, you can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Okay, so part of the buzz at Rams training camp is the growth of Stetson Bennett. The Rams offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, said that he has, quote, grown up so much. So this is definitely promising. I mean, when you look at what he has in front of him during training camp, he's got to find a way to make this team. And Bennett looks like, at this point, there's no doubt about it, he is QB3 on this team behind Matthew Stafford and Jimmy Garoppolo. And they want him to do well. They want him to solidify that role. They like him as depth. They like the juice that he brings. And hearing what LaFleur has said about him, it leads me to believe that as long as he just does not completely regress significantly, we're talking 3-4 interceptions, not running the offense, missing throws, not going through progressions, as long as he shows improvement during training camp, his spot is cemented as QB3 for this Rams team. LaFleur said, quote, he's grown up so much. He's in such a good spot mentally. He's had a great command of the huddle compared to what it used to be. But what I think is even better is when the ball snaps, he's just playing so fast. He has a knack. You can see it from his college film, and it's coming through here in year 3. He has a knack of space and feeling space, when to speed up his drops, when to tempo it down. What's been most impressive, particularly the first few days when he was going against the one defense a lot, that pocket is collapsed and he just knows where his outlets are. Hey, don't make bad plays worse. He's done a great job of that. He continues to stack days. He's going to get a lot of opportunities this preseason, which will be great for him. So that is the biggest key for him. What Mike LaFleur said right there. Don't make bad plays worse, right? We saw him scramble out, try to go out of structure, try to make plays, try to throw across his body, try to hit out routes late, and they led to interceptions. It led to throws that just frankly should not have been made. The other thing that really stands out from what LaFleur said is that it's the command of the huddle and just how everything is just fast, right? He knows when to speed up in his drops, and he knows when to tempo it down. That shows you the feel. And you'll want to hear that, because when you start processing defenses at the NFL level to the point where he was in college, then you're going to start to see him really shine. Then you're going to start to see him really look like an NFL quarterback. Even if that's a QB3 in the NFL, that still is a major accomplishment. And I just like hearing LaFleur not only gush about him and say positive things, but also it's the, hey, he's playing so fast, right? So, I mean, that's definitely a really good thing for sure. And the truth is, I got to keep it 100 with you, right? The truth is that all this is great. It's great to hear this, right? It's great to hear this from your coaches, but it's not going to mean anything unless we don't see it in the game. Okay, we need to see this on the field against competition from other teams, right? That's where his breakthrough is going to come. His breakthrough is not going to come in training camp. Even though this is nice, major step in the right direction, exactly what we want to hear at this stage of a training camp, but it would be much more significant. It would carry a lot more weight if he goes out there against the Cowboys and throws for 3 touchdowns and has no picks and throws for 200 to 300 yards, and you're seeing just a much better version of him. Because the truth of the matter is when he's been under center during the preseason, it has not looked good. He has 784 yards in his preseason career, 3 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. And that's in 5 preseason games in the last 2 years. So, yes, it's just a preseason, but for guys like Stetson Bennett, may as well be the playoffs. May as well be the Super Bowl, right? Because your roster spot is tied to how you perform in those games. So he's got another offseason, just getting more equipped to the NFL style, right? As far as just taking care of your body, studying, putting yourself in the best spot to have success. And I think, too, another thing that you can't underrate is learning from Matthew Stafford, learning from Jimmy Garoppolo, and just being around Sean McVay in this Rams culture. That stuff seeps in. And if you allow yourself to absorb that kind of stuff, you are going to be a better player just by day one. And then you stack days, like LaFleur said, it's only going to get better. So, look, I'm not here to tell you, this guy could compete for a starter's role one day. I'm not here to say that. I don't think that necessarily is in the cards for him. Even though I am a Bennett truther to a degree, he's not my QB1 for this team for years to come, right? That guy is at the college ranks right now, most likely, that they're going to draft. But still, having a reliable backup quarterback, and who knows? I'm not going to speak in absolutes and say there's a 0 chance, right? As long as you're on an NFL roster, there's always a chance. And that's the biggest key for him, is just playing behind those 2 guys, and then next year we'll see what happens. But they definitely want to see him go out there and perform well during preseason. That's really going to give himself the best chance to just have a secure spot on this team. And just, the thing too, even with Matthew Stafford out, another big opportunity for him, right? And he's dealing with the back injury, so he's getting more reps behind Jimmy Garoppolo. So his development is trending in the right direction, and that's exactly what you wanted to hear from him. So that's definitely big. By the way, speaking of Mike LaFleur, he actually compared the Cooper Kupp's Devontae Adams, the Cooper Kupp Devontae Adams basically spot swap on this roster to an NBA trade. And he compared it to when the Lakers traded Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks for Luka Doncic. LaFleur said it's one really, really historic good receiver for another really, really good historic receiver, but they're different, right? He said, I don't want to start using basketball references, but it's Anthony Davis and Luka. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they're both really good players, and you're going to use them in different ways. I think we know that Coop, his specialty was how his mind worked and the numbers that he's putting up in this uniform. Likewise with Tay, and everywhere he's been and the numbers that he's put up, yeah, they're both receivers, but they're very, very different, and the way we're going to use them is very, very different. So that's interesting, because we got to see what are those differences. Because the truth is, I don't think I like the idea. I like using the reference there if you're him, but the truth is that Devontae Adams at this stage of his career is a much better receiver than Cooper Kupp has been for the last couple years. I'm not saying that Cooper Kupp can't have a bounce back year up in Seattle. I think if he gets healthy and he's rejuvenated, he's motivated, he's re-energized, we could still see him go out there and be productive. But I don't think that any GM in the National Football League, all 32 teams, I don't think there's one that would have Devontae Adams behind Cooper Kupp. I don't think there's one that would take Cooper Kupp over Devontae Adams. If you watch the film for both these guys the last 2 years, if you look at the numbers for both these guys for the last 2 years, it's really not even close, right? I mean, Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis are much closer than Luka Doncic and then Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp are. I mean, there's just a gap there. Let's just be completely honest. And I mean, this isn't sour grapes. I love Cooper Kupp, but it's got to keep it real with you. Got to keep it honest with you. I mean, he definitely has dealt with injuries. He just has not been the same guy for a while. But I'm rooting for him in every game. I actually won't have like a 1,500-yard season, but I want the Seahawks to finish in last place and win like 2 games. I mean, I think that is a perfect situation for us in the Ramley. But coming up next, what happened at practice today? And Kamren Curl wants the Rams to get this big-time receiver in a trade? What? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. And look, this is just a great all-in-one app that really just helps you get better at managing your finances. I mean, if you have a financial goal in mind, whether it be saving for a house, whether it be paying off some debt, that can help. Buying a house in LA is not easy. So I've been definitely using this app to try to manage my finances, also manage my subscriptions. I'm subscribed to all kinds of stuff, and this has really helped out with that as well. At the end of the day, you do save more money by having this app. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Okay, so the Rams have a pretty solid receiving room. It's pretty stacked, if you ask me. When you got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams as your best 2 receivers, you are in a pretty good spot. But Kamren Curl, he thinks that they should get another top-level receiver in the name of Terry McLaurin. So Terry McLaurin, the Washington Commanders, they are at odds about a contract. There's a standoff between them. McLaurin requested a trade. That's how bad it is. And it's a pretty big development for teams that are not the Rams. I mean, who knows what could happen, but we've seen some wild things happen in this league. But his old teammate, Kamren Curl, he tweeted, pull up 17. Said, pull up 17, put that on the X. And, of course, we know that's in reference to, first of all, you got a guy wearing 17, and that's Devontae Adams. You got a guy that just gave up 17 to wear number 12 in Puka Nacua. But the truth of the matter is you don't have the cap space for McLaurin's needs for his requests, and you just really don't need to add another receiver, especially one that wants to be one of the highest paid receivers in the league. So it's cool. I like to dream about stuff too. I really do. Right? It'd be nice if Paul Skeens was on the Dodgers and you add him into this rotation. It'd be nice, right? But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But let's talk about some of the things that have been going on at camp. I think it's just been a great energy at Rams camp. Good combination of youth, good combination of guys that are veterans. And one of the guys we're really paying close attention to is Rams rookie tight end Terrence Ferguson. He's already having a great time learning at camp. He told Rams.com that his experience has been awesome so far at training camp. He said, quote, "It's a dream come true. It makes my job a lot easier being able to learn, just sit back, watch those guys, ask them questions, especially Higgs." Of course, he's talking about Tyler Higbee. He's played the position, and he's been at an elite level for a long time. Obviously, Stafford's elite. It's really fun to catch the ball from him. So that definitely is cool to hear him say. And it just feels like this dude is wise beyond his years. It looks like he's talented beyond his years. And I think that he's going to have runway at some point this season. They're definitely treating Tyler Higbee like the vet, like the unk of the group for sure. But I do think that at some point early on this season, you're going to see more Terrence Ferguson. I think he's fast tracked. I think they're fast tracking him. They're developing him. You got veterans. You got guys in that mode, and you got Puka. You got Kyren. I mean, those guys early in their careers, we saw what they were able to do at their positions. Well, Ferguson, he now has an opportunity to kind of be a young player that the organization really likes, that's going to get a chance to show what he can do. And I think that he really will. I mean, all this guy knows how to do is produce. I mean, you look at his numbers at Oregon, 134 catches, 1,537 yards, 16 tutties, 4 years with the Ducks. And, yeah, I don't think – it's all what happened immediately, right? Tyler Higbee, he's your tight end to start the year. And he's going to definitely try to hold him off as best he can. But I think – at some point during this season, Terrence Ferguson is going to really make his presence felt, and I think he'll probably end up with more yards than Tyler Higbee. Touchdowns, we'll see. I think yards, he will. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. If you really want to support the channel, hit the like button, drop a comment down below. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.